Hi, welcome to Scotty Wandering. My name is Peter and I am today in Calumet County along the eastern shore of Lake Winnebago at Calumet County Park. And I'm here to do a campground review for you today. We are on the Niagara Escarpment and this campground reflects that. It is broken into 4 sections. There's the north end, the west end, and the south end, and then the upper, which is up on the escarpment. And that one, I've already driven through that and it kind of impressed me because there's a section through the trees right along the edge where you can see through the trees. There's no underbrush, but it is dark. It's really kind of funky. But we're going to take a look around this campground, show you all the sites, walk you through it, and then you can pick the best site for you. And they can book up to a year in advance here. And some of the sites apparently do book up a year in advance. I'll get you all the rates at the end, but let's get started here at the north end. Okay, we're going to start with N1, which is North 1. And this one, you can see the parking pad. There's a big section behind where the cars are for tents and things. Now this is water and electric, so I'm not sure why a tenter would take this one, other than it has a big area to park their boat and 2 cars. Now we are across from the park office and camp store there. And 2, again, nicely in the woods here. They look like fairly big sites back there. Lots of green space behind the vehicle and the tent. We'll take a look at N3. This one doesn't seem to have as much green space behind it, but it's empty so I can look at it. So like I said, electric and water back here, and just a nice little space tucked into the woods. And 4 is the camp host site next door to that. And across from down there we have a bit of a playground. Plenty of green space for everybody over there. This is the camp host over here. So not something you can reserve unless you want to be a camp host. Then there's a big gravel lot here, and tucked behind here we have N6 right here. It's a very long site, just electric. And let's see what this one is. Is this 7? Oh, this is 5, because camp host was 4. So here's N5, electric in the back, nice wide site. And this looks to me like at one time it was a sledding hill or something with a rope tow. Alright, just this side of the front end loader here, we got N7 tucked into the woods there along the gravel lot. Off the end of that, I'm going to check with the office on this. This would be 8, but it's closed this year because it's in the middle of a construction zone. There's a road going back. I'm going to have to check to see if they're adding on. But 8 is closed this year, and this would be 9 right here. Let's see here, 10 on the right, and these are electric. 23 over here with a Class A, so I guess our numbering's out and back. 11 over here, that tent tucked away back in there under the trees. Gets a little windy down here some days. That's 12. 24 over on the inside. Now they're not waterfront, but they still feeling it. 13, 14, short. So 13 is much longer on the end. 14 is short but wide. 15, same kind of thing, not very long, but has a lot of side space. And nothing over here in this section across from there. And 16, hopefully the wind isn't too much for you and you can hear me. And 17. Now 18, longer because it's at an angle. And I'm told that 18 and the other one at the other end book up first. Those can book up almost a year in advance. And 19, as we're starting to go back away from the water, backing up to the playground. And 20 here. You can see the amount of side space between. And I believe this would be 21. As we're getting back to the gravel lot. And N22. Now what I missed down there, I was kind of questioning because the pit toilets are questionable access right now. But over by what looked like a ski lift, there's a little lodge there. There is access to pit flush toilets there. So there is some access to facilities at that end. The trail going beyond is going to be just that, a trail for now that heads off and connects to some other parks. Now just a little bit beyond the main registration here, we do have newer shower facility sitting over here. So it's not right next to the campground, but it's sort of a central location with a parking area for that. Now in the middle of the park here, they also have a couple cabins for rent. Nice little side patios, MC2. MC1, and they're even camping alongside of it. And I'll have to look up what M1 is there. That looks like more than one site. I see two different full hookups there, at least electric and water. There's a lot of money being invested into this park, though. I see lots of improvements being made. We're going to go down and park between the west and the south, south campgrounds, and take a look at those two groupings. There's at the maintenance shed right now, there is a dump station, but they are in the process of building a brand new one. By the time this video comes out, will probably be the place you go. For such a shallow lake, she's an angry lake today. It is big though, and we are on the far side of the wind. Okay, I'm going to come down, walk you through this section of the campground. Well, apparently numbering starts at the south end. So this is W1, W2. Get a sense of how much shade they have here. W3, so W for west. 4. So you can kind of really see with these two that the pad, you go in and then it widens out at where you're actually parking in your trailer. They pulled their trailer forward, W5, W6 over here. All right, 7 here, not a very long pad, that one's fairly short. 8, a little longer. Restroom across from that. Water fill there. 9 here. This one's got a bit of a downhill slope. 10 is the last of ours with pads. Oh, I guess some of these have pads over here. Let's see what kind of numbering system we get now. Okay, 11 is just a grass site. Looks looks like they're trying to grow grass there too. 12 here going back. $13 is in this area. So the brown signs back there are basically saying campsite boundary. So 13 goes all the way back, both picnic tables, firing's way back there by the brown sign. So that would make this 14 through here, and I can see that right on that boundary line somebody had put their tent, and you can see it in the grass markings. So all of this is 14. Across, coming back, we've got 15. So it slopes up and then levels off nicely where the picnic table is. I got 2 fire rings on that one. 16 over here, that kind of drifts off that way for your space. Now off to the south of the West campground here, we have the boat ramp and little harbor area, which is probably very much appreciated considering what the water's like out here. There is a little inlet that comes in to create a harbor. That is quite nice. Okay, a little bit of odd knowledge I only know because I was just there earlier today looking at Columbia County Park in Fond du Lac County, that Calumet Harbor is down there, not here at Calumet County Park. So don't get confused because they are different. Now this isn't just a boat ramp, this is a boat launch facility, and it kind of is. You got restrooms here. Now my next step is I'm going to go up the stairs over there and visit the south end campground. Well, that was awkward. The stairs lead right up into the first site where the kids were playing ball over there. There is a play structure here in this campground. I'm going to hit the lower section here and then the upper section, which is brand new up there. I'm not sure what new facility is going here. Perhaps a bathroom, I don't know. All right, S1 over here has a little extra lane because it's an angle, but warning, it's got all that green space on the side, but that's a trail, strangely. S2, not incredibly long. S3, so the numbering's out and back, so I'm going to go out and back and do it by number. So S3 here. Time you get to S4, you hardly know you're on the water because of the trees. S5. S6. You're not really stacked on your neighbors like an RV park, but you don't have any cover either between sites. Picnic table or the fire rings are way off on the edge. That's 7. Now this one has a little extra parking pad up front. S8 is probably what that's for, where it specifically says do not park on grass in this really short site. So if you got a trailer, plunk it there, put your car up front, or you can park and tent camp out there. S9, again, not really long, but when you continue out here, it's a little more. And then 10 on the end. And then we're going to loop back around and hit the non-waterfront side. And like I said, there's a whole other section up top we'll get to as well. So 14 here. These are still nice sites. And it's not like those are truly on the water, so. 15. 16. 16's got a bit of a gap beyond it, a little playground, and then toilets behind that. 18 here. 19. And then on the end, it's 20. With, I don't know what's going to be across the street from it soon. Yeah, I'm in the upper section. Some pelicans flying overhead right now. You will get a bit of that around here. 21. Like I said, these are all brand new, electric and water. 22. Get a little higher viewpoint from up here. 23. 24. 25. 26. They're all pretty much even and equal, one site to the next. Really just a matter of what kind of trees are blocking your view behind you. 27. And they have parked their tires right on the edge of the pad there. Give themselves all the room they can. 28 on the end. And this is the drive coming up from the lower section, so you don't go that way. Pit toilets, porta potties currently in use because the new bathroom and shower house up there is not quite open, but it should be open by the time this video comes out. Up a foot trail from there. Not that you get there from there. Brand new dump station. That's the RV, and boat, which means this is also a place to come wash off your boat if you need to, I believe. Or dump your boat if you have tanks on your boat. Let's see if I get a closer look at what this building is, but I believe it's supposed to be a bathroom. It's got a garage door on the end. Well, so far it's a men's room, but not a ladies' room yet, according to the signage. Now, I'm going to go around the corner up there, up on top of the escarpment, and show you the upper campground now. There I am. All right, I'm up on the escarpment. It's a bit of a walk in here. There's no parking anywhere in there, so I got to park way on the end. But I'm going to take a moment and wander the trails off over here to some Effigy Mounds. See what kind of mounds we got here. I come across my first one, and I'm guessing panther. I see legs and a long tail here. Well, I know there's more up here. I don't have my map to help me figure out which trail I was supposed to be on. There's a whole bunch of parallel trails running along through the stretch, but there's supposed to be like 4 or 5 up here. But they're a little hard to define. They're not defined here very well, but that's fine if they just let them disappear into the woods for now. It won't be disturbed that way. I'm almost up to the campground now. We'll get a good walkthrough of this and hopefully it's not too dark in section of it for filming. Yeah, they're not here to point out the mounds to you, but here's another one. There's a little, I wouldn't say pull off because there's no place to park, just a little green space with some memorial trees in it. But there's a really long, possibly lizard mound. I always get my lizard, I think it's a lizard mound. Really long and lengthy. Goes all the way down there with the tail. And then just 100 feet or so down from that lizard mound is the first section of campground. Now this first section can handle some larger RVs. It also has a turnaround to send you back out. Anything larger shouldn't go beyond because it gets pretty tight and narrow. All right, this is U1, upper 1. Got some green space behind there. There might be another mound back there, I'm not sure. U2, currently electric, but it looks like they're adding water to these. So these may be water and electric very soon. And then I think let's see here. U3 over here. Deep wooded site. Not going to get too big in here and still be able to open up. U4 squeezed in here. And is this 5? Trying to find a designator. Oh, there's the pole and I don't see anything on it. Here's the pole for 5, and I believe that's 5 back there. 6 over here where it's starting to get dark. We're on the edge of the trees. Across from those, we have a basic playground, sand pit over there to play in, and toilets behind. And a little bit of green space tucked away behind that. And more Indian mounds or effigy mounds hiding back there somewhere. All right, there's the turnaround for your larger rigs. Continue down here. You might still be able to get something here in 7 where you can still turn around. It's sort of a pull through, but not quite. Now we're going to walk out here and show you how close to the edge of the world we are. So you're not going to get any grassy spots up here. Too much shade. Too much rock. And there's the edge of the escarpment right there, heading down to Lake Winnebago. And from that area, there's a bit of a gap before we get to the next site over here. These are well spaced out through here. And I think that would make this 8 here. And that's camping on the edge. After a bit of a rocky gap, we're over at 9. We'll take a good look at that. Plenty of room for several vehicles here if you need. I would be quite happy up here, and the kids can go exploring that. It doesn't look too scary. Boy, that's some pretty moss on there. Coming off the back of 9 now. Just how the world splits apart here. And that brings us to the backside of 10. Nice little pull off here. These are not electric, so you can save a few bucks here, but you're not going to get any solar. So come prepared if that's your issue. Yeah, that's 10. There's 11 right next to it. There's a trail there that will take you down to the lower section somewhere. So that's the easy way down. All right, down here at the end, just had a nice chat with the folks of the road truck at 12. And then there's 13 over here. And what's interesting about 13, 12 basically has all this grass area. 13's campfire and fire ring is tucked away in their own little grotto back here. Back here in the shade. Hot summer day, this is going to be a beautiful place to be. And without the undergrowth here, the wind comes through and blows the bugs away. Now past 13, you get a couple of toilets. And then G1. This is tents only. This is a walk-in section for tenters. I guess there's sort of a common fire pit there, fire ring. And just set your tents wherever you want. So on busy holiday weekends, I hear that this is filled with tents. Okay, the rates on these. Basic site, $22. Electric site, $25. Water and electric, $30. They do not include tax. Rates apply to parties of less than 2 vehicles per site. Each additional adult vehicle is $3. Cabin rates, daily $90, weekly $5.50. Reservations are accepted, $10 reservation fee, and they kind of encourage that. 2-night minimum stay on the reservation system. If you come, take your chances, first come, first serve, stop down at the information or the registration building. You can book single night, pay there, and not have to pay the reservation fee. But you're taking your chances in what's available. Although looking around up here, if you're on a weekday, there's a chance. Just don't come on a holiday weekend expecting to get that. Dump station is $10 per dump for non-campers. It is included with a camper. And then I think that's all that matters for camping. So hopefully, isn't that quite the tree? Hopefully you got something out of this tour. Nice little county campground. Wide variety of different kind of camping available depending on what you kind of like. I specifically love it up here in the upper section. There's some great sites, some good ones if you need electric, and some really interesting ones if you don't. So thanks for coming along. If you got something out of this, please like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one, and get on out there.